Including things. Let's continue the SuperMemo course. In this case, it's a kind of a reaction video, but not as much as you will see. It's a video about SuperMemo community, one of the very few I didn't react to yet. It's about to tackle complexity with Coherency branch in SuperMemo. Uploaded 4 years ago.
This video is about tackling complexity in SM, SuperMemo, and how can we systematically learn a voluminous topic which we have no proper background for. So in this example, I want to understand neurons.
So there's some requisite scenario that I don't have enough knowledge, I have some holes, so the requisite knowledge is not met, and it's very large. I think he said volumetric, something like that. Very vast amount of information at the same time. How do I manage that?
And I have a very poor background in biology and so on. So we start by importing this to SuperMemo, and
in this case, he has kept some steps. Do you see web import? That is when you import as a new node. Okay. If I use the Alt Internet Explorer, is what he's doing by the way, because the video is 4 years old, is this location, new node. So we'll create a folder, and then the child will be the article you just imported. By default, you will be using group hook, by the concept basically. And later on in the video, he will use the child. So basically, it's the location of the import. And on the recent importer, if you're using if you're using SuperMemo 19, it's the same. It's located here. The location is located here. New node, group hook, and child. Same thing.
then we just start reading from the top, and we can
Basically, you have the topic that is already dismissed. Therefore, a folder has the timestamp, the date and timestamp, like filler, because there's no name.
can definitely see that even the first sentence will cause us trouble. There's new concepts, new words. This is the important part. You definitely need to, when the topic is new or just difficult for you, you definitely need.
Yeah, exactly what happens. Okay, I want to know, I am already aware the neuron is very important and very basic in neuroscience and other fields. So therefore, knowing what a neuron is very, very essential. But then the definition is electrically excitable cell. That, okay, I know what a cell is, in the sense that I have heard that. But what's the definition of a cell? And that can be excitable. And how? Electrically. Not electronically, electrically. Oh, what does this imply is, I'm assuming a lot here already. And then the jargon, the sponges, I don't know even how it's pronounced. Plecozoa, fungi, what is all of this?
Need to go just slowly and analyze any new concept, any new word. You might know that you might know a word, but it doesn't mean that you understand it in every context, right? So we go analytically, right? Then so we don't understand the first sentence, which is very crucial. So we extract that and we start investigating the sentence. It's created as a child.
One of the possibilities, not necessarily. Usually you will do this when this pops up on your repetitions, not right away. Unless it's crucial, that without this I cannot read anything else I imported. If that will be the case, you won't wait. You will bypass the incrementalism.
Here, and then we just quickly can see that there's a new concept, electrically excitable cell.
One point in Wikipedia, that's awesome because SuperMemo is using MS.html.ll, more or less communicating with Internet Explorer. Back in the day, that was very useful because do you see the color? You could tell, hey, I have seen the cell and Synapse's Wikipedia pages already, but not electrically excitable page, well, link. So it's good to know that, hey, I'm not going to check this because I already know I have checked this previously in the past. It's a perk. If you don't use the importer, it's something you lose.
Which we need to import supplementary material for. And we highlight this, and then just Control F3 to pop up the search window in SM.
Okay, just to be more clear what he's doing, I'm going to cheat now. Eclectically. So you select the text, Control F3, and this is the search. It's the same if I search and then I type in the text. I do the selection and the selection comes preemptively there, so I just click OK. And then I have those choices. You can customize this. I covered this in other videos. And usually he goes by Google. Here you go. I did a typo, okay. That's what he did. Now that I have this open, let me import the same article. I already have it, I think, in my collection. Yeah. So I will import it anyways. Do you see new node in the location? I will do this scheme. And that's what happened. I used the imports concept, but it created a folder. Automatic, new on Wikipedia, and the timestamp now. That is a slight difference with SuperMemo 18. And see, what he did is Alt-X, Alt-Left, nice. Now, Alt-Right to go back. And what happened, I think in this case, it's Wikipedia, that the text is already different. So 4 years ago, he had electrically excitable cells. Let me see the context. It's an excitable cell. Doesn't says electric anymore. It's an excitable cell that fires electric signals. So you see that's what don't focus on the wording. That's a good example. That the message is the same, but hey, the precise wording is different now. Anyhow, I have the article here, membrane potential. So I can open it. Here you go. Or I can go here, edit, open links, and I will see all of the hyperlinks, which are massive. Look at that, more than 1,000. It's Wikipedia. Or right-click it if I want to. In my case, it will be using Internet Explorer still in this computer. Nice. Do you see that everything is blue? What they said for him, that he is this purple, is when you have already seen that. This is kind of lost. This is lost, this perk. So if you're using SuperMemo 18, it's this detail. But let's continue.
Control F3 to pop up the search window in SM and then just quickly Google it. This is a PowerPoint presentation, so I don't have the prompt showing here, but that's what's happened. It's a quick way to Google. Anyways, we see there's a quick...
And on top of that, now, unlike 4 years ago, you have AI, LLMs. So you can ask any language model, hey, what is an electrically excitable cell, and adjust to what you know, to your knowledge.
Quick definition for excitability. So we want to import this. We want to import this as a child. because this will so he
Okay, here starts the main topic of this video. I'm doing a reaction video comprehensively, everything he says. No worries that everything that we do will be in the course format, regular course format anyways, with isolated features. Basically now, he's going to use, let me disable the captions, child, the location. Is wherever you are now in the knowledge tree, then that will become the parent, and what you import will be the child of whatever you are now. So it's important to know where you are in the knowledge tree on the time of import, because that's the reference. And can be any. Could be even an item, not a topic. And yes, you can have hierarchy down in an item that is a topic again, or even a concept. Because SuperMemo allows the user to overwrite everything. You have a lot of power.
here we imported this as a child, and we can see already there's this branch building up. And here is the thing we imported, and we can see there's again new concept, membrane. We don't understand what that is, and it seems crucial for understanding this whole thing.
Yeah, so basically you niche down, and down is like what he's doing, I could say, it's some ontological hierarchy, but top down. So instead of the more basic and build up the basics, you start with a high level article already, and you go down. Oh, what's a cell? Bam, bam. Then what forms a cell? Da, da, da. What's a membrane? Da, 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 da. What's a neuron? It's a kind of cell. Da, da, da. So you will do all of hierarchy down, all of the ontology until you get the most basic stuff. Basically, all of the holes you have on your current knowledge, or in other words, the knowledge that is missing, so you can understand the text.
So we import new material for that, and this is the crucial.
In this case, it's not a good example, it's limited. He's using a simple a no collection basically, and it's using the default concept, the root. So neuron could be, I don't know, anatomy, biology, neuroscience, whatever. It will be under a concept for you. Then if you put membrane, all of the hierarchy down, in which concept? Because if you put it as a child, all of the concept is the same, the concept group. Let me show it to you. So in this case, I have imports. That's a concept inside a SuperMemo course. Here you go. A SuperMemo course is already on my root. Then, now I have quite simplified. It's not yet the best example. So imagine I have science. Then I had hard science, neuroscience, then social neuroscience or psychological neuroscience, everything nested. Then whatever I import later, it will be in the same place. So let's say that this about health. In this case, membrane could be biology, but no, it will become a child. This is more obvious from James. Let me quickly try to look for it. I already reacted to that video.
Hi guys.
But it's now for a different perspective.
In this whole clinical trial, perhaps Fosbury.
Okay. So in this case, he is into explore and exploit. That is machine learning. Do you see in his case, he has more concepts. Now, he has machine learning is his active concept in the collection, and in this case, in the knowledge tree, he has a concept just for this, exploration versus exploitation. I don't have the ancestors window, so I don't know if this concept is under machine learning or not. Regardless of that, he does the same thing. And what he did, because I remember this, in an so not in an imported article, so in an extract, I think, he imported this, Dick Fosbury, which, because, long story short, how the technique he did the technique of the high jump and so on, goes in consonance with this concept, exploration exploitation. But hey, that's an athlete. So you're putting a concept of a page of an athlete in machine learning or exploration exploitation. It's not good or bad. Depends on your approach. There are pros and cons of every approach. That in his case, I still remember, because I reacted 4-hour videos with him, that he doesn't care about anything else, about his life, and he only cares about this. So for him, the existence of the phosphor in his collection, it all exists for the sake of exploration and exploitation. So if you're gonna stretch it that, okay, it will be this concept group, okay. Because could be in the concept group of sports, for instance. It's a more illustrative example than here, but eventually it's not necessarily biology. Could also be anatomy. Depends how your background knowledge, basically. What is AP? Oh shoot, let me do this. What is excitability? Or what it means intrinsic. And all of that. So you could follow the rabbit hole. And the purpose of this video, the complexity with coherence branch, is that you nest this. So I could phrase it, if I have to put it in a name, I have to name this convention, this flow, is convenience hierarchy, hierarchical convenience. So more or less you put all of the requisite knowledge hierarchy down every time, so then you only need to go to the parent, more or less. But you're sacrificing concepts. Everything is in the same concept group because of the hierarchy. You could still force it, just to let you know that in SuperMemo you can do some crazy stuff. Let me go to my concept. So here I could nest, hey, what's the concept of this? It's imports. Hey, I can change it, but if I change it here, it will use the hook. But what I could do is open this on the browser, and now I can set a new concept, let's say science. Yes, nice. So that means that physically is in the same place, but it has different concept. You see science here, and on the parent, it's imports. I mean, it can be done, but I think SuperMemo it's not meant to use this way. When you go neural and some stuff, the relationships are calculated and it's assuming it's the same concept or conceptless or stuff like that. But just to let you know that it's possible to have this flow.
Part, we import it as a child so that we are, keep building this branch, and we'll see soon why is that. So here we have a cell membrane, and
this goes again, this is a very clear example, the difference with incremental reading and personal knowledge management. A personal knowledge management person or a user who uses both with SuperMemo will have this tendency. Classify with concepts what it is. Oh no, that is biology. Oh no, that is anatomy. No, this is neuroanatomy, more specifically, inside the anatomy concept. So it's nested. Those articles will be in different parts of your collection. And a learner is I don't care, because the only thing I care is how it is in my brain. So I know that those are distributed, can be cataloged, classified according to different criteria in many ways. I don't care. I care about my learning flow. Here we go, a very explicit example of the difference. of an incremental reader and a user of personal knowledge management.
Then we take a peek. Definitely this monster is going to cause us troubles. There's, again, so many new concepts.
And he says that if you have this flow with language models, if you copy paste the contents, it's fine. But with Wikipedia, what happens? Look at the scroll bar. So every article he's nesting, he's importing as a child, is huge. Not just that, that includes a lot of jargon that has their own article. Look, membrane proteins, transporters, selectively permeable ions, organic molecules, cell wall, cell signaling, ion conductivity, cell addition, pump, way too many. And this is just the first paragraph. But look at the dimension. And then you have a main article, that this is just an overview of the history. You have yet another article that will be huge. Not the best case, as a newbie, because you need the skills to just go like a butcher and get the golden nuggets super quick and differentiate the missing returns super quick, deprioritize that. So with maximum 2 repetitions, you have put to oblivion the rest of the article. So even if it's there in your collection, you already got what you needed for this step in the hierarchy in order to understand the pattern. So this flow, at least with Wikipedia, requires some skills already.
So we extract that and we start investigating that. And it goes on like...
Keep in mind that he's jumping all over the place and he doesn't care about priorities. And I take a look, but it's useless. Why? Because it's a new collection. There are only 10 items in this collection. So, hint: priorities is what you will use if you use the other flow. So instead of nesting the imports, no, I need this, but hey, that's biology. No, that's physiology. Boom. And I do import all of this preemptively, but in their own concept, on their own priority.
Like this. So this is why we have this branch, which I call just coherence branch. Because at any point, if this was floating...
Coherence branch. Okay, I will accept the coining. Coherence branch, but now we have know that. But if you see any other branch, any other part of the knowledge tree, or after a few months, so you have them forgetting, how do you know which one is an extract? So which one is the pattern, the starting point of an article? Because cell membrane, it's not. It's not the start of the hierarchy. It's not the start of the hierarchy, the coherence branch, but it's the start of the hierarchy in the sense of the element, the Wikipedia article. So from there, he will make extracts, right? So neuron is the start. A neuron is an extract, excitability is an extract of an extract, perhaps. How you can tell that? There are some cues. In case it's usually because SuperMemo cares about Wikipedia, gets a title. So when it's just a title, there's no more text. And SuperMemo 18, usually that's an indication that, hey, that's the title of a Wikipedia page, most likely. But that's not a guarantee. Just to let you know that you could find this. That what says here? Source, Chrome import, link, oh, it's neuron. I want the parent. It's this one. Article, in my case, 311,239 neuron, which in this case is the parent, but not necessarily. Then if I do the same, more or less the same he did, I'll do another extract, it's dummy, I know. And now I will import this as a child. Okay. So if I have, how I can detect what it is? Easy. Here it will call me the article, then I know it's not itself. That's an extract. Same here. It says neuron. And now it says parent as well. Nice. Because I can move it in the knowledge tree to different places, so it's not necessarily the physical parent. And then I have the transmitter as imported as a child. What will happen is itself. The parent, this is the physical parent, because I imported this because I wanted to be a child, but it's the physical parent. There's no relationship. It's not an extract of the parent, if you know what I mean. Now, very easily, now if I open those three in my browser, I have some criteria here. Child, sources. Okay, let me toggle the hints. Open a browser with sources of all extracts and clauses in the present browser. Articles. Open a child browser with top-level topics and tasks. Or, in other words, non-extract articles. If I do this, there's only one. That is a non-extract. It's a full-fledged article that has been imported as a child, but doesn't come from the parents at all. That's how you know that. Let me open it again. Oops, sorry. And you have sources. Open the browser with sources of all extracts and clauses in the present browser. Hey, now I have two. Why? Because neuron is also a full-fledged source from Wikipedia in this case. Long story short, they have different sources registry members. So what you see at the bottom, in my case it's gray, it will be pink for you if you use the defaults. It's the same thing as this, the reference. So in this case, how many there are? Neuron, that's an extract, is also neuron, neurotransmitter. So you will get the first level article, the first level element, that which is the source for each reference. But what happens if I import by copy pasting and I have no sources? No references. That becomes more complicated outside of the scope of this video. But I hope you get the point that if you spend some time, you could, even if you have a very long hierarchy, you could deduct what's original, what is extracted, and so on.
Just individually in SM collection, it could happen that in, let's say, a few months I come back to this. Then if this was just as an individual unit in my collection, it could happen that I have no reason to study this as an individual unit. But when I can see from ancestor window that, alright, this paragraph is because I want to understand cell membrane. Alright, this paragraph is here because I want to understand cell membrane.
It's like one convention that implicitly, very implicitly, I'm signaling my future self that the reason I imported this or I extracted this is in order to understand this text. Accessibility is intrinsic membrane, It's one way to do it, but keep in mind that if you have this flow, you're doing a lot more than that. And will have consequences now and forever in SuperMemo, because it's a child. The concept group, the crowding, the neural review, even how the priorities are inherited, and much more.
Cell membranes. Why do I want to understand that? I can control up and take a look at its parent, which is about excitability. And why do I want to understand that?
Okay. There's another flow, which is a lot more niche, I know. I don't even use it myself. That is that you can link elements. So instead of having this relationship with hierarchy, it will be by length. So that you could go in your collection, non-transmitter. Okay, let me do that. So link the current element with any concept. Well, it's not exactly any concept I want to link. So concepts and link element. And it will be concept link contents, and it will be this one. In this case, is the parent. Nice. So now I can go to view, link list. Do you see? Hey, what happens is that I cannot distinguish. I cannot put an attribute to this link. I can only say that those elements are linked. They have a relationship. That's it. I cannot say, hey, this is knowledge hierarchy, that this needs to be learned before that. Prerequisite knowledge. I cannot tell that to SuperMemo. But it's one way. If I have this link, then I no longer need the physical relationship. Or you could do something in the middle. That is what I say. Is what I do. That they have a convention. So I just do this, and I say why. Or usually if it's long, if it doesn't fit in my, if I have to scroll, then it will be at the beginning. And why? If it's not obvious that implicitly my previous self, my future self will know that, I will say it. Hey, this looks like some random error. No. I want to make sure that I don't have this assumption in the future. I will put why. Sometimes it's concept, and I say neuron. Concept neuron, something like that. That, hey, all of these text, well, not the best example, but that had like him. Well, in this case, it's quite a few already. Hey, at least the membrane, I know that this is for the sake of that thing that is very high important for me. So perhaps I don't care about this specifically. I care about the other thing. I'm not aware. I don't know what I exactly need to know in order to understand that thing that I really care about. Since I'm still not knowledgeable, I have to use this token. That whatever you think, override it, because your past self had done this decision because of this very high importance, regardless of what it is, because I still don't know what it is. I haven't read it yet. I haven't imported it. If this makes sense. I have actually a case with agency. I'm using a backup, so I cannot show that to you. But even though it just, I can go to Wikipedia and show it to you. That I discovered, oh, what is this? You have agency in sociology, psychology, philosophy, moral, and even law. And it's the ability to what? To follow to act independently, your free will. But if we go there, then you have self-efficacy, and all of this is, oh, what is all of this? Then I have overwritten this, that I know I have a concept for philosophy. I have a concept for sociology, and so for those three. So what I'm doing is, do I want this to be on the same place? So agency, it's all of them the same hierarchy, or no, it will be in each concept because I have them. But I want to have this clear idea that, there are three different articles about the same word or expression, but in different domains. And I want to be this crystal clear. One option would be importing the first one, the next will be the child, the next will be the child, let's say. Or I import both. There are in dynamic concept to do, and they are siblings. Could be also the case. Could still do it like this. But keep in mind that it's because I'm still exploring this. I'm a noob. Because then it's agents. Oh, but I know that in AI, you have AI agents. It goes in the same direction. And then and perhaps then intelligent agent. Or embodied. That sounds more like cybernetics. Oh, here you go. Right. So Perhaps then I continue. Whoops. I continue, and what do we do now? I go to cybernetics. I have the concept. I go to AI, or I import it as a child, and I continue this, depending on my intention. There's no right or wrong. My intention is beware of the pros, the cons, the effects it will have in the future. So you make the decision being aware of that.
Well, I don't want to understand definition of neuron and so forth, so that I can continue my process on learning about neurons. All right, it won't work if I don't understand even the first sentence in neurons. So this is the part. You can at any point just jump back to learning. When you're happy with your knowledge about cell membranes, you can jump back to the parent and keep continuing learning from there. It's very coherent.
Yeah, but what about if it pops in your repetitions before the parent, before the child? Because you're absolutely neglecting priorities now, and you will get different intervals. So I'm assuming he does this manually. So you always go top down, like that, bottom up. Let's say that this excitability, the element that pops, and okay, I take a peek in the ancestors, and then I know I have to continue in the cell membrane for the coherency branch, kind of thing. So I'm just kind of, I don't care which one appears first or the other. I will still overrule and prioritize the order of hierarchy bottom.
And so forth.
As long as you're systematic.
So we have this monster here in front of us, and there's many new concepts. So we shift click each of these links, which are necessary, and we do the same thing. We start importing them as a child.
Oh wow! Let me pause. Just so you know, he's using SuperMemo 18, and one of the bugs reported is that you only have 64 levels of hierarchy in a knowledge tree. Because every time you note that it's appended, actually what is that? I think it adds 3 dots, or 3 white spaces if you see it in different place. Long story short, 3 dots every time, every hierarchy, you get a maximum of 256 or I don't know how many characters. Therefore, if you do this, keep in mind you're limited. In SuperMemo 19, because Wozniak updated this, now it's a lot more. So base 2, now I don't know, but 64,000, something like that. Something you will never reach. But just to let you know that if you keep doing this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 3 more, that's already 10. Then, depends on you. Second chapter. Depends on you. I kind of like this when, on the case of James, that, hey, I know which one off, and he does the article right away. Actually, he doesn't do it, yes, falls inside of the definition of incremental reading, but he doesn't do incrementalism, in the sense that he imports the article, processes the article, or the chunks he wants from the article, and apply done on the same session. There's no incrementalism in this. That's the difference with him. There's no way he finishes an article here. Not the same thing. It will be a lot harder to manage the diminishing returns of every article. Not only that, he goes beyond 1 level or 2 and keeps nesting. Those, cell biology, those could be their own concept and being siblings in the Katze group. This is an overkill. It's way too many. You will need many hours. You will need many hours to go through all of this. and you will be systematically ignoring the concept. Keep in mind with concepts, you can have default priorities, auto-applied templates, and crowd neural review, among some others. Among some others perks. This is being neglected, and you are, at the end of the day, you're flattening your collection. So it's not flat, it's a hierarchy, but it's a linear hierarchy that it's by the order you came across the information, and you import the sources by order that you imported them. Pam, 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 pam. So here the order of the text will imply more or less the order I will import the articles. Another no, because still he's neglecting priorities. But then what's going to happen is that here in cell membrane I will do extracts eventually. But then I will have siblings. One will be an entirely different article on its own, like cytoplasm, let's say, and it will be a sibling with some extracts I did. So it won't be obvious, and especially those are super huge, long articles, that perhaps I will have an extract of an extract, and intermingled with their own concept, their own articles, in the same hierarchy. And I will have this happening over and over again, at the very least at 10 different levels, as he has shown now. That's not sustainable. So the more, in my opinion, the more you use this flow, in the level of nesting, and in the level of overall elements, the worse it becomes. So the power you get, the pros, gets diluted and diluted and diluted and diluted, to the point that very quickly it doesn't compensate with this flow. This does. How James does it. Because he cuts it really short. Yes, he will have some articles that are, okay, what is doing here in machine learning, if it's an athlete and stuff like that in your collection, but doesn't go forever. Imagining all of those extracts, assuming that there are extracts, and now, hey, no, that's not an extract, it's or a extract of an extract, it's another article. Oh my god.
And now we have the new things here.
Oh, okay. So they become siblings now. How he express it is to import. Okay, so illustratively speaking, is for import. So if I only do one, hierarchy down. In case I have three, I will have three siblings. And then what? That means that the next step will continue the last sibling. Nucleoplasm. Just because it has been the last imported is quite arbitrary. I don't know.
Here and all right. So we keep doing this. We keep doing this as long as is necessary that we reach a point where a row makes sense to us. We do this as long as
long as you can in SuperMemo 18, which is 63. I will do that if you have no source with LLMs. Imagine that every time it's a prompt, and the child is the answer. Then if I continue the conversation, it's still the same conversation, it's the same hierarchy. But then no. Now I want to branch a conversation and go to a different place, and I continue the conversation there, neglecting the other branch, right? So I could see it like this, and every time you're going to have some verbose answers, but usually the answer is something you can do in one single chunk. You can add incrementalism if you want, but it's something that it will fit like this. Until years ago, there will be the entire response. So yeah, you can nest that, but keep in mind that every time it's a genuine response from the language model. There is the source. So therefore, the hierarchy you have more or less represents a conversation you had. If this makes sense. I will do it like this. There's actually one app that has this flow, but there's no way to import it to SuperMemo, sadly. Let me know if you want to do it, if you want a video like this, because now I will have to look for that app and so on. It is a case that I will say justified. Why? Because you have, it's the key, you have no references. You are just asking AI. Perhaps the AI will prompt some reference that, hey, most of the information has been taken from this source, but still is not the source per se, right?
So, you know, as long as we find something that makes sense to us, all right?
And look, I'm pretty sure, not because those are just pictures, most of what he is importing is the interval. So if you follow you click learn, you click on learn, and you follow your outstanding queue, it will be a mess. So you will need to go manually every time and go to the most niche down level of hierarchy within the branch.
And now we arrived at learning about cells, and this seems like it could match our current knowledge, right? So then we start extracting the first paragraph and alt left and get to it. And this is the point. This is about slot in effect.
Okay, and now he's doing the closulations.
You memorize the first thing you comprehend, so that this will help understanding the parent. So
understand before you memorize with understanding and so on. Yeah, exactly. And you build your knowledge incrementally up. There's no solution now with AI. It's not, hey, do this to me or let's chat. It's suggest, what do I need? Let's say I came across neuron. Let's backtrack. Let me do it. For real. Neuron. I will do just the first part. Boom. There's a GPT I really like. Universal Primer. And I just paste this because I'm lazy. So this is more or less asking AI, hey, what do I need to know in order to understand this article? Neurons, the structure, so the anatomy, a synapse, electrical signals, So more or less, what I could do is, hey, what articles do I need to import? Not necessarily, because instead of the full article in Wikipedia, which includes a ton of information, I just want the precise knowledge, which will be a very tiny subset. Not necessarily just the definition, but overall, what is the synthesis? Very high level, without the jargon of neuropeptides and all of this, right? Like this, green light, red light, it's less scientific. The domino effect, do you see? Is easier to understand. Then I can get more or less the big idea, the big picture, even though if it's oversimplified. And then it's okay. Once I know this, perhaps I can go through the article already. And if I don't, because I have a huge gap, then I ask, hey, which articles do I need? And which section of the article? Meaning, hey, I have a vast amount of text that I know I need, that the information I want is there. They are golden nuggets. So I ask AI, locate the golden nuggets for me. So I just go there, boom, and I skip a lot of reading because I know that most of what I want is already there. And I get most of the outcome very quickly. Meaning that I will leave the missing returns very quickly. There's plenty of material in the article, but I don't need it to know to answer the first article I needed. The coherency branch root. Then, how comfortable are you with the concept of membrane potentials, ion channels, and non-transmittant function? So then you can ask, you can say, hey, in my case, I really know that, membrane potential, but not ion. And you go hierarchy down to the most basic, as easy as that. And you can ask, hey, plain English, not necessarily all of the jargon. You can adapt this to your liking. It's called universal primer. I could have said the same. Let me start a new chat. Understand what is a neuron and its more or less, and I want to understand what a neuron is, its behavior, and in a scientific level. I don't care about the typo. You have the basics. There are more, but hey, axon, the cable, soma, the processor. So it's a good approach that I have no clue, and this is just plain English. I mean, because I also studied in university the body, the muscles, all of this. I know soma with Greek already means body. And some other stuff that just the name is hitting me already. Even though perhaps it's the first time I see that word. How does it work? Do you see plain English? Pam, pam, pam. Then what I'm going to do is copy this. Then as a child, if you will, then I put it here. Oh, wow. I have no template yet. That's why it's so massive. No, even though I know what happened, that the text is massive. No worries. So keep in mind that it's a language model, therefore there's degree of inaccuracy or errors, so hallucinations. But for basic stuff, it's more than good. And since, anyways, you will iterate on that, if there's something wrong, factually wrong, you will see it eventually. So you start with this, then with some axon, terminals, the connector, and I do the flashcards out of this. Then I have a more, still very simplified, but more superficial understanding, so I can go to the original one, which was the neuron. Oh, okay, I still have potential, was not mentioned, excitable cell. Then I will do this. Okay, now include the concepts introduced in this sentence. And I iterate. Excitable cells, but since now it's the same, I'm following the same conversation. The AI knows what I have asked before. Hey, excitable cells, but in the domain of neurons. What are special? What makes it excitable? And here you go, the potential, probability. You have an analogy in plain English. That's massive. It's like pre-cooking incremental reading. You're cheating your way out of incremental reading. Now, with AI, because of the training data and so on, can provide this to you. And it's not that I have the article, which is another strategy. I could have provided the entire article, which is this, huge. I'll make a summary, locate what I want, which is harder. It's what I did in the past. No. If it's very basic, like this one, I can go with the training data alone and just guide me there. That's a lot better. And if you want, you can follow this one. Do you see that I have asked understanding neurons? Now I will make this Alt Q, and now I have created a reference, because that doesn't come from Wikipedia. Now I ask a following up question. So here you go. I will make a new child, or I make a dummy extract. And boom. Do you see? I have the date, but as soon as I skip, now I have the title. That's much better. So the flow he's using makes sense with AI. Means that I ask this after I have asked that. So it's a follow-up. So it's actually the opposite case. I don't have to go hierarchy from bottom up, but top bottom. Because I start with the most basic and then I expand. Hey, I missed that, or can you expand on this? So it's the different level of hierarchy, the different direction. Actually, it's the natural. And once I have this, and I make all of the flashcards of what I want to remember, or I explicitly ask, hey, expand of that. Let's say the effects of dopamine, for instance, because I drink a lot of coffee. What effects have caffeine when I drink coffee? As an example. Not my case. I don't drink coffee myself, but you get the example. And then I go to the original source, and hey, now makes sense. I know what means to be excitable, to fire electric signals, which are called action potentials. I even know the threshold was 17 milli, and then our systems, I know what it is, neural network. So now I know all the jargon, even though it's very simplified, but it's enough to understand the sentence. So therefore, I bypassed all of those articles, what he's importing, which are massive. Even though, if it's what I want, not that I understand this, I want to go further, is what I will do. So regardless of that, I will still import the article, because I really care. I want even more preciseness that I don't. And then an overview, okay, that goes history, I don't care, goes to neuroscience, okay, then for me it's enough. Then what I got with AI will be enough, and since I have read this, I have verified, this one, I have verified, so what the AI has told me was not a hallucination. So it's two. I killed two birds in one stone. Now I verified, I know this already. I don't need to import the full article. So instead of the article, I just had an output. Like it's a slightly verbose, but compare the extension of this with the Wikipedia article. It's much, much shorter. That's one. I saved a lot of time, because I concentrate the golden nuggets, basically. If it's not, and second, that I verified the hallucinations that were actually factually true. And if they don't, then it's okay, let me go to the source, let me import, and then here I will read and find the truth. So I will have to unlearn hallucination I learned and learn the truth. But what happens if it's not that basic, or it's some proprietary knowledge, let's say from a company? Then you will need to prompt from the text. So instead of just asking, you will have to include the PDF, the document, and whatever. Which will be slower, but more or less a little more tedious, but you will achieve the same result. Let's continue.
This will slot into the reader's fabric, or however you call it, framework, current understanding, or however you want to phrase it. So
Framework, yeah.
we learn this and we make items, we stabilize it in our long-term memory. It helps us understand more about cells. When we are done with cells, we move on to the membranes. And when we have good understanding of membranes, we move back to excitability.
Membranes.
And then
He pronounced membranes. I think that's, the pattern is off. Let me stop here. That's a good example. The study of cells is called cell biology, cellular biology, or cytology. With AI, you can make it consistent. That always use the same jargon. That's one of the pros, because if you use, in this case, Wikipedia or different sources that he Googled, is not necessarily Wikipedia, then you will have cell biology, cytology, So as a noob, it also increases the difficulty. That you think there are different things, and no, they are also known as. They are just synonyms, and stuff like that. So you can make the jargon more homogeneous when you're a noob. Not always. But on the early stage, you'll have one name, and then, oh, okay, this is also known as this thing, cytology, or is known this when it's more, no, in this context. Pam. So you cannot exchange the label every single time. That is a good example. That using the AI can simplify that.
ultimately, we're back at learning neurons. We have now the required knowledge to move on with neurons. And then we just rinse and repeat to do the same process. And you...
Rinse and repeat, exactly. So let's pretend, let's pretend I have read all of this and I understood all of that with analogies. Then the follow-up question, what is excitable on all of this? Then I go back to the original and I continue. Then is, oh my god, what is all of this? Acetylcholine, testosterone, choline, cocaine, what is this? The discovery, I don't care about the discovery. Oh yeah, we said about it was excitatory. But what about the opposite, right? Inhibitory. Hey, I have more holes. And what is this? Type 1, type 2, or that's way too detailed. Oh, that's some part of the anatomy of the neuron that I have skipped with AI. Now appears, okay, then I will do it. So I'm still making iterations. I just bypass some of the article for convenience. Like this, what is all of this? Oh my god. You know what I mean? Then I will ask this AI, what is the relevant to know all of the following in order to, and especially for healthy goals and learning? Because this at the end of the day is my motivation. Because I want to apply this to me. So healthy individual and adults, I would specify. If there's a lot of specific things for children and for learning. And then I paste it. Okay, about memory, mood, motivation. So those are the modulators. Okay, so do I care about the mood? That I have a bad mood or something happened in real life, some bad news, and I'm in a bad mood and I cannot recover, something like that. Hey, let me see. Or about the sleep regulators, melatonin, Do you see? So from the list, this monstrosity, I left one amino acids. I will be interested. Oh, now that I know how the networks and the transmission of neurons work, what about the other one of sleep? How this works? Is the same thing? What's different? Serotonin feels like a calm teacher who keeps students emotionally balanced, while melatonin is like the librarian who files new memories during sleep. It's like very introductory. It's like a helper to assess priorities. Oh, I have a hunch it will be important. Now I have more information. Adenosine increases sleep pressure, helps during rest when tired. Oh, then this has higher priority than I thought. Because if you just present me this, a list that okay are classified as this, are types, and I'm a neurotransmitter, but poof, you're just presenting me the jargon. What do I do with this? Right? So with conjunction with AI, and in this case, I'm not even going to make a close solution of that. It just help to process, to guide on my learning process. I don't have curriculum. So with this helps, when I'm a noob, I'm totally neglect the domain. I have no clue. Where do I start? What's more relevant than other things? Here you go. And then, hey, I will import this in the concept it deserves. Because I have already in my brain the position, what it is. It's not tabula rasa, like him, that, hey, I don't know what it is, let me import it as a child. I have very weak, very simple relationships, facts, but that are useful. And perhaps this eventually will expire. So in the sense that the librarian, what's the example? Yeah, well, another example. Histamine is like classroom lighting. If it's dim, it's low, and you feel sleepy. And if it's too bright, it's overwhelming. And stuff like that. That, hey, now I don't have to rely on the analogy with the lighting. I get it already. So sometimes those are just temporary knowledge, temporary strategies, but they are still good. And if I don't go further, because I'm not going to go further in everything because time limitation, even if I want to, I will keep it. And for me, knowing this will be enough. So, for instance, noradrenaline, if I only remember that this helps in the fight or flight, it's already a thing. Has value. So next time that I see this, in a different context, when learning about neurons, hey, I know this helps in fight or flight. Or I just memorize the analogy.
The thing is, you always build these brands. It doesn't have to be Wikipedia pages, by the way.
Yeah.
Along this journey, you can have whatever. You can have exercises, YouTube videos, just that.
Exactly, we have focused on text, but you can intermingle, you can interlift podcast episodes like Lex Friedman or Huberman, that is more in science, in health in this case, or YouTube videos from the podcast themselves or any video you see online.
You arrive at the point where you understand something, and then it starts falling like domino pieces, right? So you cross the last row, then you can move on to the next row. You go from bottom to top. These coherency brands, right?
Exactly. Same thing with the AI, by the way. Oh wow, that was kind of abrupt. Now let me go to the comments. Super demonstration, good explanation. How do you like that? Yeah, it's PowerPoint. Forgot to add. Keep working with finally. Was no mention, not even a hint about priorities and intervals. Okay. Make sure the high level, complex stuff is postponed to reasonable time in the future. Exactly. Basically, the higher it is in the branch, in the coherency branch, the longer you will postpone. Or it will appear on your repetitions. Because this is not the regular use of SuperMemo. Can be used, absolutely, but it's not the expected behavior. which is expected that you have made solid progress in the sentence. Exactly. Feel free to jump on apparent topics at any point by clicking or by manually, when you feel comfortable with the knowledge you acquired. You don't have to gather 100% in a supplemental material, especially if it's Wikipedia. Learn as much as is necessary to understand apparent and you feel good about it. Or perhaps you can transcend that, go beyond what's necessary but is pleasurable. That, hey, I already understood everything and I do understand the apparent now, but I still want more details, because it's super pleasurable for me. Keep going. Then, that has been all for years. November, oh wow, 4 years and a half. I had my 2 cents, quite long 2 cents. And yeah, if you have value from my videos, especially those videos that take a long time to edit and to record, consider donating to support the channel. And when you buy SuperMemo key, use my link. You will get some discount, and I will get something as well. We both win. That has been all about to tackle complexity with coherency branch in SuperMemo. See you incrementally.